Oh boy, y'all are gonna love this one. You're gonna love this one. I think I've got this comment here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 paragraphs of someone responding to yesterday's video where I talked about Prime, and they're talking about how Prime is like the worst thing that's ever happened to them. So I'm going to go through these points one by one for you guys and give my thoughts and opinions on it. I've got it all right here. Look at this. Look at that. So we're going to address this point by point and see where we can go from there. Here, driveline, world's okay, steering wheel holder. Sorry, it's a little grainy. It is currently 4:59 a.m. I'm getting this one pallet taken off the trailer right now. So I haven't published this comment. Well, it'll be published by the time you read this on the video yesterday, which was one pallet and thoughts about Prime. So if you want to go read the comment yourself, you can go. I think let me make sure it's on that video. Yeah, single pallet and thoughts on Prime Inc. So the video before this one, this comment will be on there. The username is Shadow Neon. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know if it's a guy or girl, so I'm going to say dude, which I call my wife dude. So don't be offended by that. I'm just not sure, so I'm just going to say this, dude. I think you were just coming to make the comment because you got an axe to grind and you wanted to rant and rave. I get that. I get the urge and desire to just let it fly. I do it on this channel all the time. So I don't get the sense at all that you were looking for advice or anything like that. So with that being the case, I'm just going to say it right out front. My initial summary is you are horrible at running a business and you should not be running a business. That's just my initial summary. Now let's go through this and we'll see if everybody else agrees. We're going to start with the first paragraph. I just came to Prime thinking after 4 years of trying to get in that this would finally be the place I stay and call home. Admirable. I was hoping the same thing. Second paragraph. Worst decision I've ever made. I've been here so far for about 5 weeks. Things I've seen so far, ... Then on to the next. They put you in debt before you even get a load with well over $1,000 worth of supplies they want you to buy from their store. Okay. I'm trying to think now. Maybe it's $1,000. I don't know. Maybe it's $1,000. I don't remember. I think it was like load locks. You gotta get chains on the truck. You're gonna need things like clipboards, stamps, detention stamp, padlocks. So it does rack up, okay? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's $1,000 to me, but let's think about this real quick. First of all, you're starting a business, okay? It's not going in debt. Well, I guess it technically could be, but you're investing in your business. You don't get just a free business, okay? You file your LLC, there's a cost to that. To have a, what's it called, whoever's managing your LLC in a state, I can't remember what it's called, there's a cost to that. If you're gonna have an accountant, there's a cost to that. There's cost to having business. I don't know why it seems to me that you just expected them to give you $1,000 worth of stuff for free to start and run your business. Little strange. I'm gonna assume you've never run a business before, because that's what it sounds a lot like to me. the second thing is, other than maybe the detention stamp and your trip sheets and things like that, which are all cheap things, you don't have to buy all that stuff in the company store. You can go right down the street to the Loves or the Flying J and buy load locks. I don't know if you could buy chains at those, but I know for a fact you can go right down the street and buy load locks and oil, engine oil. You can get a padlock down there. Wouldn't recommend it. I think you should have an abloy lock. Invest the money in having a very good abloy lock. You go buy a clipboard. You don't have to buy all that stuff in the Prime store, but you have to buy all that stuff. You're starting a trucking business. I can tell you this, it will be cheaper if you buy it at Prime. You didn't mention that. You didn't say they wanted me to go buy all this stuff to start my business at a discounted price. Do a price comparison on load locks if you buy them at Prime versus if you buy them at a Petro. Do a price comparison. All right. Lease trucks are barely touched when they've been gone through. I will give you that. I think Success Leasing does a terrible job of making sure those trucks are spot clean and, ready for a new driver. Totally agree on that point. And it really sucks because I made a video with Haley from Success Leasing, I'm going to say like 2 years ago, about their white glove service that they were supposed to be rolling out. And I still to this day hear horror stories about how filthy trucks are when people lease trucks. And I think that's just, I don't know why they can't fix that. So I agree with you on that point. Most loads are heavy and require you to run at full speed to make on time, so you end up spending $600 plus in fuel for a load, paying maybe $1,000. What? What are you talking about? Okay, so I'm assuming, let me see if I can figure out. I don't know if this is, I would assume, well, yeah, it's reefer because he or she mentions reefer fuel. So you're running reefer. What the hell are you talking about? So I have a meat load right now is 36,000 pounds. The load before that was 40,000 pounds. The load before that was like 20 something thousand pounds. But what are you talking about $600 to run 1,000 miles? Are you out of your mind? Where are you buying fuel? $600. Let me read that again. Most loads are heavy and require you to run at full speed to make on time, so you end up spending $600 plus in fuel for a load, paying $1,000. Okay, so let's say let's lowball it. Let's say that load was let's say it was $2 a mile. So if it's $1,000 that the load's paying and it's $2 a mile, then you're 500 miles. So you're saying you're paying $600 to go 500 miles. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I can fill my tank for between $500 and $600 depending on where I get the fuel. I paid $2.95 a gallon this morning, so close to $600 if I had to fill 200 gallons. And that would get me I don't know, well over 1,000 miles, right? I don't know. I don't let my tank get under a quarter tank. So I've never really tested the theory on start to finish of how many miles I get. But what are you talking about, $600 for $1,000 load? You're out of your mind. The only reason you would do that is if the fuel recommendation says, hey, there's cheaper fuel on your way on this $1,000 load, so go ahead and fill up. Then you're going to be paying potentially $600 in fuel, but you're not going to use all that fuel on that trip. You would have a ton of fuel for your next trip. So then you would spend a lot less on the next trip. So that's just nutty. That's just I'm sorry, that's just a nutty paragraph. Like you just make yourself sound like a fool. I'm just being honest with you. Ancient PC tech that's all done in macros where you have to constantly put info in multiple times, plus call before leaving every pickup. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. I ain't really gonna argue with you on that. Let's see. They nickel and dime you to death, charging you for everything, including reefer fuel. Oh my God, they charge you reefer fuel. Holy shit. I'm sure there's some drivers watching this video that are like, dude, I'm out here on the spot market. I got to pay for my own washouts. See, that's another thing that's not mentioned here. Prime pays for the washout. You know, if you're out there as an owner op or on the spot market, you're paying for your washout. You're paying to wash your trailer. You're paying for maintenance for trailer, for insurance for your trailer, for tires for your trailer, and reefer fuel. Like, holy shit, dude. Have you ever run a business in your life? You have to pay for reefer fuel. Let's see. I personally had to pay another $1,000 to fix their fridge, which was filled with black mold and broken. Well, first of all, you're lucky as F to have gotten a fridge with your lease truck. Like, damn near no lease trucks come with fridges. And you had to pay $1,000 to fix it? Oh, you do realize that even the most expensive fridge for trucks costs less than $1,000. Why in the hell would you spend, like, that's what it says, guys. Go back and look at the last video. The comment will be there. If he takes it, I'm going to take a screenshot right now, just in case he tries to delete it. Here's the username and the full comment. So let's see here. The pay on the loads are only estimates. They won't tell you exactly what a load is paying or how much they are taking for themselves. The 8-page pay stubs that are okay, the pay on the loads are only estimates. They won't tell you exactly what load is paying or how much they are taking for themselves. It's actually in the contract. Like, we have contracts that we pay them 28% of the load. Like that we have contracts with service contracts with Prime. They are paid 28% of the load. I don't know what you're talking about. And yeah, they are estimates. And occasionally they do go up a few or down a few dollars, but usually they're right on the money, unless there's detention or something like that. Let's see, the 8-page pay stubs that are so incoherent you'll have to have an accounting degree to figure them out. Didn't you take an ACE class? They pretty much go through it and give you opportunity to ask all the questions you want. And also, what are you talking about 8 pay stubs? I have a fleet of trucks and my pay stubs are like 3 pages. I don't know what you're, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? I've learned not to ever tell my fleet manager about any delays because they will start flipping your load and screwing everything up. Don't know what you're talking about there. But if the delay is your fault, then you need to be prepared to deal with whatever shit's thrown at you. Because if it's your fault and not an act of God or an accident or mechanical, then you probably should have to take some shit. If that's what, I don't know if that's what you mean. But I've never had a service failure, and you know, so I don't know what you mean there. The majority of the loads I've been given had me sitting for 6 or more hours to either pick up or deliver because Prime had the times wrong. The majority. Wow. Because Prime had at times, look, I do videos often about Prime's sales screwing up appointments and stuff like that. So it certainly happens. But a majority? Come on. I've been doing this for 5 years. It's maybe once a month or maybe twice a month that I get one that's really screwed up and has me sitting for 6 hours or longer because sales screwed it up. It's still unacceptable. Like, I don't think that it should happen, but it's not a majority. Let's see. When you're not rushing to make it on time, you're stuck running at 60 to 62 to keep your MPG average up. All my trucks do 65 miles per hour average and are well over the minimum of 8 miles per gallon, which is what Prime requires, I believe. And I can do that. I can do that fully loaded with some hills. So maybe you need to learn to drive a truck better. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I don't know. Prime and Success Leasing are like two con artists that prop each other up. Prime wouldn't be nearly as big if they didn't have the lease program from Success to brag about, and Success Leasing wouldn't be in business if they didn't have Prime to funnel naive drivers into complete sham of a lease. Sham of a lease. It's all spelled out in the contract. Pretty cut and clear. If you feel that you're you need to read your contract. You need to understand what you're signing and getting into. There's nothing misleading about any of it. And by the way, Prime he owns Success Leasing too, so it's not like they're two separate things. But they don't care if you go company or lease. There's no pressure either way. So trying to funnel naive drivers into leases is like there's no trying to funnel you into leases. I was never pressured either way. Let's see. Anyone looking at Prime Lease, I'll tell you straight up, as somebody who's done 4 different leases with different companies, you're better off going to SFI or JB Hunt. At least there you can pick your own loads. They tell you exactly what the load pays, how much they take, and how much you get. The pay is straightforward and easily understood with no hidden BS. Plus no reefer BS to deal with. Personally, I'm stuck here till I pay off my debt to the company store. Once that's paid off, I'll happily be giving my truck back and heading back to JB Hunt. Edit. Also, you don't need a year to see whether a company is good or bad. Most you can tell right away. Yes, some are subtle and it takes time to get to know the ins and outs to see the little cracks that pile up. Prime doesn't have cracks, it has gorges. Boy, again, getting back to it, you're not good at business. Like you shouldn't be running a business. Like you need to be a company employee, or you need to have you need to be with a company who's going to really hold your hand and do most of it for you. That's not running an LLC with a service contract with Prime. I'm just being honest with you. Like most everything in there is just like, you definitely, here's what I would say to you. Don't go owner-op, ever. Don't go out and work the spot market. Don't get your own MC numbers, doing your own IFTA and your own accounting and all. Don't do it. Because if you're already where you're at right now, just because you have to pay for reefer fuel and your own fridge and buying your own supplies, it'd be rough for you. So this is what I was talking about yesterday. This is the stuff you see online, and people are making decisions based on that. Like, oh my God, look at what this guy's saying. Prime must be really awful. But what he's saying is nonsense. Now, he or she, I'm sorry if I don't understand, but entitled to your opinion. But most of it's just nonsense. Like, there is no fridge that even the Peterbilt fridge, I think, is like $900. The fridge I have in here is like $200. What are you talking about? You spend $1,000 to fix a fridge, which they don't even have to put in the damn truck. There's no requirement that they put a fridge in a lease truck. Paying for your reefer fuel? Oh boy. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say you really have to look under the hood of the stuff you see out there online when it's prime bashing. And exactly what I said, which is you need to listen to drivers who've done this with prime for more than a year. Because if it's a driver who's only done this for a couple weeks and they're grinding an axe, they're probably just not very good at business and are just going to be geared to think that the world's against them and they're being wronged at every turn or something like that. Look, I don't mean any offense to you who made the comment. I appreciate the comment. I fully and wholeheartedly disagree with most of what you said. And I disagree with it based on the fact that I've been doing this for 5 years with prime on the side of the trailers that I pull. And you don't know what you're talking about. Like you don't know what you're talking about. Like you're making things up. $600 in fuel for a load that pays $1,000. Additionally, why would you take that load? If it truly was going to cost you $600 in fuel, why would you take that load? You, as a business owner and as a professional driver, independent owner, independent contractor, should know. You should be able to look at a load and know, oh my God, this is paying $1,000, but it's going to cost me $600 in fuel. If you don't know that, if you can't figure that out beforehand, you're not good at this. Because I can tell you instantly when I see my load information, I can pretty much figure out exactly how much in fuel it's going to cost. And everything. In fact, I'm going to pull up load choice here in 30 minutes and it's going to give me 3 loads. And I'm going to have like a minute to make a determination on which of those 3 loads I'm going to take, because those loads are being shown or proposed to other drivers. So I have like very little time. In fact, I've missed loads on there because I took too long to try to decide whether or not I was going to take it. And when I hit accept, it was already gone. Well, I've learned to, within 60 seconds, all the variables are going through my head. Which side of Dallas is this receiver on? How much is the fuel going to cost me? What's the reefer setting? What kind of freight is it? How much fuel is that reefer going to burn? What kind of washout situation am I going to be in? All of those variables. 60 seconds. And you can't figure out that a $1,000 load is going to cost you $600 in fuel until after the fact? First of all, I think it's not possible. But let's say maybe by some screwed up weird twist, it is possible. You accepted it. And you didn't have to accept it. Oh, your comment just proves my point. Your comment to a video, it was to a video where you're trying to prove me wrong, and your comment just proved my point exactly. You're going to find credibility with drivers who have done this with prime for more than a year and can give you honest perspectives on all aspects of it. I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. If it's a driver who's been there for 4 or 5 weeks and they're just grinding an axe and they don't have anything positive to say, again, everything on that trailer and that driver only mentioned that you have to pay for reefer fuel. Didn't mention no maintenance, no tires, no oil changes on the reefer unit itself, no washouts, no washes on the trailer, none of that you have to pay for. So if they can't mention anything positive and are just railing on all these negatives, you need to really look at the negatives and see if they're actually realistic or based in reality, because most of his or hers aren't. Anyway, love to know your thoughts. Be safe, make good decisions. As always, drive to thrive. Talk to y'all soon.